I'm very excited to be introducing Kelly Hui, and this actually was quite special for me to judge a fiction contest. I'd never done such a thing, and I was drawn to Kelly's work really from the first sentence I read of their submission. Like any good daughter, I believe my mother when she lies. I read it and I kind of could feel myself settle into the reading of it. And what followed was a swirling story with both depth and agility, which I think is hard to have both. A story of a mother and a daughter and the lies that they tell each other. And from these kind of hushed, insistent sentences, I felt so many urgent questions arising. You know, what are the stories that hold a family together? How can we maybe redeem ourselves within an economy of storytelling and lies? And as Kelly reminds us in her story, a story is a type of lie. Amazingly, in like 4 or 5 pages, I felt a story that was somehow like questioning the artifice of storytelling and language itself, while also entertaining me. You know, I couldn't believe how much this work was doing at once. I'm frankly almost insulted to learn it's one of the first stories they've ever written. So that's, I mean, really amazing. In Kelly's writing, there is so much more than lies could obscure. I sense that Kelly's a writer who knows how to listen to their own work. I think a lot of writing is listening to one sentence in order to write another. And one way that I think you can detect this is a telling continually complicating itself? Is one element necessitating another? A father who is a fish necessitating a watery phone call, for example. So anyway, for my part, I found that the more I listened to Kelly's work, the more I found. It was an amazing experience. So it's and the more I wanted to go back and reread, I should say. Kelly Hui is a second year, I can only read my own writing. Second year in the college studying critical race and ethnic studies and creative writing. Outside of classes, she edits and writes for the opinion section of the Chicago Maroon and organizes with student activist groups on campus. Their work has been recognized by the Young Arts Foundation, Scholastic Writing Awards, and the Boston Mayor's Poetry Program. Please join me in welcoming her.
Pesky little earrings. Thank you, Rebecca, for those kind and really gracious words. They really mean a lot to me. So today I will be reading from a short story called A History of Water. Like any good daughter, I believe my mother when she lies. The first lie I remember, the one about my father, has always seemed the most honest. Your Nainai gave birth to him in a river outside Chengdu, she says. Spent 18 hours with her knees pressed against a dirt bed. He came out like a fish, slick and pink with want. He swam away and never came back. This is all she says about him. My mother is a good storyteller because she is unwasteful with her words. She believes in the economy of language and its precision. My father is worth half a sentence, a few choice phrases in Mandarin. When my 7th grade class goes on a field trip to the aquarium, I translate the permission slip for her wrong, replacing aquarium with museum. I worry she won't let me go if she thinks I'd see my father. But then I fear that I have killed him, translated him into bone, a fossilized thing in an exhibition. The day of the field trip, I pretend I'm sick and my mother lets me stay home. I am a good daughter and a fast learner. When I grow older, I begin to catch her in lies. My friend Jenny Xiao Jenny Xiao's father leaves their family, and my mother curses. So American. Back home, the men never leave. I ask, what about Dad? And am chased out the house with a fly swatter. I wonder how he found my mother, the hook of her. I wonder if I am half fish, and that's why I take such long showers. I come back hours later, contrite. You just forgot how he swam away from us, I say. My mother shakes her head. At her hairline, a whisper of gray shadows her forehead. Water is a history, she insists. It remembers where it goes and comes back. I remember. Before I leave for college, my mother makes me download WeChat and messages me daily. Study hard, find good man, make sure he is not fish. Be like water, come back to me. I respond with thumbs up reactions. She calls me every Sunday to talk. I tell her about my classes, the friends I've made. She tells me she's been going on walks with a woman named Zhang Yue, who has a daughter in my year. A few months into the semester, I get 4 missed calls. It's my mom, sorry, I mouthed to the girl with me. Her name is Eleanor, like the Beatles song, and she is tall like a painting. What's going on, Ma? You don't respond. I just make sure it's not you, she says, before hanging up. I've missed a text from her too. I click the link she sends me, and it tells me that a young woman was found naked and mutilated on the street a couple towns over, and that I have 2 free articles left this month. She messages me an hour later. You see? I reply, yeah, sad. Be careful. Don't let strange man cut you. When my mother is angry with me, she has a favorite cautionary tale. In the olden days, when China was going through a boy drought, no one wanted the baby girls that were born. They were starved, abandoned in the middle of fields, thrown into rivers. Be glad you were born here, where there is no body of water near us, she says sternly, no place to drown. I picture a daughter-shaped river, a flood full of unwanted girls. It's too late, I say once, joking, because the distance between drought and mouth is luck. I'm too big for you to throw. Silly girl. It was always the men who did the throwing. The telling of the story unfurls her fury, and at the end she releases a quiet, contented sigh, the sound of a baby girl hitting the river floor. My mother becomes convinced I am going to die. She sends me more dead girls and makes sure I see each one. She messages me at increasingly odd hours of the night. Home? I reply, yeah. Sometimes I lie. I begin staying the night at Eleanor's and go on WeChat from her bed, languaging it as my own. So much crime near school. Get nice boyfriend to protect you. I turn off my phone and reach for Eleanor. Somewhere far away, a river begins to flood. You've forgotten me, my mother says on the phone, plaintive. I respond, I'm really busy right now, Ma. What if I drowned? I respond, what do you mean? Hey, have you been going on your walks with Zhang Yue? Just as a river is a type of body, a story is a type of lie. There is a story my mother tells about a tiger named Hugu Pua who disguised itself as a woman to eat children. One day, a mother left her 2 young daughters to go to the market. The tiger woman came to their village and knocked at the door. When the daughters looked out the window, they saw an old woman with hair the color of the moon. The woman explained that she had been walking all morning and wondered whether these 2 sweet girls could spare any water. The older daughter gave a cup of water to the woman through an open window. Next, the woman asked for food, as she was quite starving. The younger daughter fetched the rice she had just cooked, standing on her tiptoes to hand it through the window. Then the woman asked to sit as she enjoyed her meal, for she was so weary. Unsure how to refuse, the older daughter let the woman in. Before she knew it, the old woman was seated at the kitchen table as if by some strange magic. Concerned, striping the wrinkle lines on her face, the old woman asked if the 2 girls were alone. The older daughter said yes, but she was quite sure the woman would want to be on her way as soon as she finished her meal. Yes, Hugu Pua said, I am starving. The tiger opened its mouth, jaw unhinging itself like a door. It swallowed the 2 daughters whole. The mother returned to the village at night when the sky was storm dark and the wind howled like a man. She saw the open door and rushed into the house, but it was too late. Her daughters were gone. My girls have just gone to the well to get more water, she thought. Look, our water basin is empty. I will wait for their return. She spent the rest of her life waiting. The first time my mother tells me this story, I wait for the twist ending. I think the tiger must be the daughter. The tiger must be the mother, testing her two daughters, making sure they are ready for the world. I think of the tiger's hunger and think, mother. I believe in transformation. But the lesson here is that some things are simple. Mothers cannot become tigers. Tigers eat daughters, and mothers cannot save them. I get the call that my mother has disappeared when I'm in the shower. I press the phone to my ear but can barely hear Zhang Yue's nervous voice over the rush of the water. She's gone. She left the house and hasn't been back. The police can't find her. You have to come home. I wonder if all Chinese women lie well, if the truth is cleaved from them like a country. I call the cops with my wet phone. Your mother is a missing person. Ma'am, where are you? The signal's shit. I can barely hear you. Can you call us back? The policeman's job is to arrest the truth, my mother likes to say. I twist the shower nozzle to the highest setting, hoping to scald off all these lies. I spend so long in the bathroom, I half believe I'll follow the water down the drain. Water holds memory. Every river is a birth story. My mother is gone. The police look for months, but they'll never find her. Zhang Yue plans a funeral, but she's not dead. At night beside Eleanor, I dream of a fish swimming in a river outside a city I've never been in. I dream of generous rivers, rivers giving birth to beautiful baby girls, rivers winnowing against the weight of a child. I dream of my mother becoming water. After the funeral, I come back to my mother's empty house, sit at the kitchen table, and wait for her return. Thank you.